Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So I got my hands on the Furious 215 by Walkera, and this is supposed to be a pretty darn good quad racer. Their next iteration in the race arena. This will be a full inspection, unbox inspection setup, pros and cons after we do a full-on flight test out in the park, out in the field, and give you my best opinion on how this thing performs. Probably do some crash testing because I'm good at doing crash testing, so you guys know how durable this thing is. But this is the RTF version where it comes with a controller, and please don't forget to check the link down below. I'll have that in the description of the videos so you guys can see what the pricing is on this and more in-depth specs down there in the description. So go ahead and click on that link. Nice and clean look to it. There's a top-down view of it, and this thing should be really simple and easy to get going and flying. So without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox it. There we go. So usually with Walkeras, this is kind of how they set this thing up, where the whole side of the box just slides up. And we're greeted with the internals. Looking good here. Here's the manual. And there it is, the Furious 215. This thing looks pretty awesome. So first of all, we'll start with taking everything out of the box, then we'll inspect it further. So unfortunately with these batteries, it's really hard to read any of the writing because it's black on black. So it is describing on the side of the box that this is a 4S 1300 milliamp hour 60C battery. So, you know, that's the XT60 connector, balance plug, and they do give you a charger also in the box, which we'll be getting to in just a second. Here is the video transmitting antenna. Looks like it's just a circular polarized clover leaf there with a nice little band on the outside for more protection. You take out everything around the quad and then we'll get to the quad itself. So here's our propellers. These are going to be 5x4 propellers, I believe. Let's go ahead and unpackage one of these packages just to see exactly what we get. Interestingly enough, there's no actual markings on the propeller for what this is, but it does look like a 5x4 three-bladed propeller. Next thing in the box is this little package with a bunch of these LED lights. So if you did want to put on, you know, LED lighting on your quad, they do give you these with some double-sided 3M sticky tape, or you can put these on as you see fit if you wanted to. And these come with this nice little easy connector to go ahead and connect into the quad flight controller if you wanted to. And there's also some black zip ties in that package as well. Okay, further moving on here, up in this compartment up here are some battery straps. We've got actually one battery strap here, nice durable looking one, and then two Velcro tape assemblies here. Coming out of this portion of the box is the charger. Let's see what this is. It's a balance charger, and it's labeling it as a C4 balance charger. This is going to do 1 through 4 cell, and it just has a 4S little balance plug here, and that's where we're plugging into our power adapter. Further digging down here into the bottom of the box, we have, looks like a trainer port module. Actually, this is it's saying a flight simulator cable. So we'll be plugging this into our controller on the trainer port of our controller. Should be on the back of the controller somewhere. And this is pretty cool. I haven't seen them include this before, but it's a USB dongle that you plug into your computer, and you can use it on flight simulators. You can use the included controller in the box to go ahead and train on flight simulators. So that's pretty awesome. The other bag that was down there are tools and parts. So we'll pop this open really quick and just see exactly what we get in the bag. There's quite a bit of stuff in here, little things. So we have 2 different size of Allen wrenches, a couple of extra propeller nuts here. You can see that it does come with the propeller nuts mounted, but we get a couple extra. And then we have several different wrenches. It looks like one like a motor wrench to hold the motor while we're cranking down the props. And then here's our like prop and FPV antenna wrench here. Got a 10 on this side, 5.5 and 8, and 8mm markings on there. And last but not least, in that little bag here, it looks like it's a receiver, a little plug-in. If we wanted to put a different kind of receiver in, we can go ahead and do that. All right, next up, one more little package here. There's a bunch of little packages tucked away in here. And this looks like a camera mount. This is neat. So we have a couple of screws here that come in that box, and then we have this little bracket and this camera mount which can swivel. Looks like it's going to be swiveling on the front of the craft, so we'll have to go ahead and see how that connects in just a sec. Okay, and I'm honestly not seeing anything else in the top of the box, so let's pull this thing out, get the quad out. The controller's on the bottom part of the box, and see how that looks. Devo 7 controller. So these are great controllers, really good quality controllers. They've got great range and they're really easy to begin with. So I'm pulling that controller out, and on the bottom of the box here, it looks like that's about it, are a few other bags. So let's just see what's in these bags. Here's the power adapter. So this looks like a US power adapter that's going to plug into our charger. Here's a trainer cable. This is going to go from controller to controller on the trainer port if you need some help on learning how to fly. And then last thing in the box here is a micro USB to USB cable to get into the flight controller to make some adjustments. Cool, so that's it for everything there. Here's the basic Devo controller. If you haven't seen one of these before, like I said, these are great controllers. You can get in there, adjust all kinds of settings. They have really good gimbals. They've got, you know, fantastic switches up here. They've got a great antenna that sticks out the top for great range. Training port here and also a charge port. And they have a nice little clip open battery bay where you can, if you want to, use their existing battery trays and put 8 AA batteries in here, or put your own LiPo Life kind of battery, whatever you want. They're great with 3S, and all you do is plug in your little JST connector in there and you can put in your own battery. Okay guys, last but not least, the main event here, the Furious 215. So look at this guy. Look how thick these arms are. This is a great design. The only thing I'm seeing right off the bat is that it does have some bolts right here going through the arms, right at the kind of the break point. You can see that it has like a midsection that's totally separate than the arms. Here's the bottom plate here. It's a little bit of a thinner bottom plate, but it's sandwiched pretty good. It's pretty well put together. So aside from the battery strap that's on here, we also got that extra battery strap in the package, so that's good. They're giving us 2 battery straps. The antennas are already kind of really well done, pre-mounted up here out of the way. A lot of quads lately, they have their antennas kind of in a precarious situation. You have to fix them yourselves, but this looks like a great area for where they chose to put these antennas to stay out of the props and be up there nice and high. Here's the camera with a little protector on here. Let's go ahead and pull this off real quick. So a really nice looking wide angle FPV camera. We can see how it's surrounded in this red accent for tilting. And here's our degree of tilt. So this is kind of stepping it up a notch. You don't really normally see this on quadcopters. 0 degrees all the way up to 50 degrees. So if you kind of know where your sweet spot is and how well you are at flying, you can go ahead and use this thing to kind of gauge where your camera is. It looks like it's adjusted from the factory all the way up. So all you have to do is loosen this little Allen screw and adjust that how you want. But a really nice looking, you know, full carbon fiber frame. Here's the standoffs. Looks like it's a combination of aluminum and plastic standoffs. Step down rear end chassis where we're going to be putting our battery, and then we're going to be slapping our camera on top here. And this is cool. They even give you a picture of how to plug in the cable and how to route it. A lot of times the cable routing is a little bit trial and error with these because you don't want them to hit the propellers. So you've got to kind of figure out a way on how to route your own power cable. It does look like there's actually LED lights already pre-inset here into the rear back of the craft, and this is interesting. It looks like it's a pretty good system here. The XT60 receiving connector is inset in the back there, as well as the video transmitter is coming out the back here, so it looks like it's pretty well protected. Any kind of forward crashing is not going to mess this thing up. Moving on over to the arms and the motors and the ESCs, these are, I believe, 2800 motors. It doesn't say on the motor, there's nothing stamped on there, but it will say in the description I have there linked to the website. Anyway, 20 amp ESCs, it looks like these can handle anywhere from 7.4 volts all the way up to 20 volts, so they can handle plenty of power. And I think I missed this little motor mount here guard. It's a plastic guard here, which also has a built-in feet here on the bottom. And kind of looking a little bit further deeper into the frame here, here's the VTX, and this thing has a little power and channel setting right here. There's a little button there on the side that we can change. One thing Walkera did contact me about is how to change the power output. This has several different settings from low to high power output on the VTX. So I'll have that link down in the description down there so you can check out the instructions on how to do that if you are unfamiliar. And tucked away in there is the flight controller. So we should be able to hook that up to the computer and change some settings from this micro USB port here. Here's a couple of other plugs. So it looks pretty cool to me is the flight controller is actually mounted on these standoffs with little rubber grommets. So we're really going to be able to take out some vibration on the flight controller. I haven't seen them do that before, or maybe it just wasn't so obvious, but looks pretty nicely mounted up inside here. Anyway guys, I think that goes through everything out of the box. Let's go ahead and take this guy out and do some flight testing, probably some crash testing. I'll be mounting the GoPro session camera or a RunCam 2 on top, so you can also see some high definition video from this thing. Anyway guys, enough chatter. I think that goes over everything. Let's go ahead and take this thing out into the field, do our flight test, and see how it does. Let's go fly it. Okay guys, so we're in the park with the Walkera Furious 215, and this should be fun. We're going to do a line of sight here with this hat cam with 4S. Then we're going to pop in another 4S and do an FPV flight. I'll have the goggles recorded for you. We'll have a GoPro session or equivalent up on top, and we'll be able to see all that FPV video. But let's start off with just the line of sight. So we want to turn the radio on here, and we kind of want to immediately go ahead and plug in the battery. Then we'll just plug in, set that thing down. You're gonna hear a few beeps, and we are ready to go. Let's make sure that this is not gonna hit the battery wires. There we go. Looks like the propellers are all clear and ready to launch. So for this one, it's got these blue lights that indicate it's unarmed, and so to arm this, we want to put the throttle to the bottom left. We're hearing it. Oh, we're hearing 2 beeps and the lights turned red. That means we're armed, and this thing should disarm on throttle all the way down. Let's see how long it takes. Okay, so it seems like about 10 seconds and it went ahead and disarmed on its own. So go ahead and rearm. Start off in attitude mode and let's launch. So you can see the props won't spin unless you have throttle on. And here we go. So attitude mode. I got wind coming from my back, so you see how it's gonna slowly, the wind's gonna push it that way. Let's see what this thing can do. So here's the yaw rate in attitude mode. Full yaw to the left, full yaw to the right. Pretty quick, but not too quick. It's kind of perfect, how I like it for kind of an intermediate flyer. And let's do a punch test while we still got fresh 4S battery. So a hover to full throttle now. Oh, super quick. Let's see what happens if we let the stick all the way off. It drops pretty level, a little bit to the front, and that's going to be just the center of gravity. So I noticed a little bit of a yaw to the left when I did a full throttle on it, but that could have just been my finger pushing to the left a little bit. Let's try a full throttle and forward. You can see that if I push all the way forward, this is attitude, so it has a limited pitch. And that seems to be about, I don't know, 30 degrees. Yeah, right about 30. So let's do a full forward pitch, and same with the roll, about 30 degrees. Full forward pitch and full throttle. So forward and full throttle now. Whoa! That thing actually yawed pretty hard to the left, so not sure what that's all about. It seems like if you full throttle, it does want to turn in one direction. So we'll have to see if that affects us in the FPV test. It may not, because I may not be giving it full throttle all the time. Let me try that one more time. Oh, it didn't do it that time. So it may have just been my stick, my thumb on the stick. No big deal. All right, let's see the lights in the back. I'm seeing some blinking. If I push roll left, they're blinking green. If I push roll right, they're blinking green to the right side. If I push forward, they stay red. And if I push back, they both blink. They all blink, all 4 of them, green. So kind of neat. Kind of lets a racer behind you know which way you're kind of moving. If somebody's following you. Anyway, let's try to switch into horizon mode, which is going to give us flips. This switch down to the middle. It's a little less aggressive. It's self-leveling, but it still self-levels. And this should allow us to do flips and rolls. So here's a roll to the right. Oh, nice. Not too fast, not too slow, but just right for an intermediate flyer like me. Roll left. Very nice. That's full stick too. Let's try a front flip. Nice. Very simple. Very easy. Cool. So it flips really well. Let's do kind of multiple right rolls. 1, 2, 3, and nice and easy back on the stick. Wow, awesome. So very precise control. I'm feeling really good about this. Very similar to, say, the F210, if you can remember that, but this one definitely seems more durable. It's got thicker everything pretty much. And there it is, just hovering. Let's get a close-up shot of this thing. Just kind of hovering at us. I don't want to point the camera into the sun, but there it is. A little yaw while we're hovering here so you can see it up close. Beautiful looking quad. All right, let's try some powered on flips and rolls. So kind of a power on arc roll to the right. Nice. And then we can adjust that, make it a little wider if we don't give it too much stick. Woo, that was a slow front flip. And this thing should self-level. Let me get way up there. I'm gonna flip it upside down and then I'm gonna let off the stick and let's see if it self-levels. If it crashes, this will be a good crash test. So right roll till upside down, letting off, and yeah, it's self-leveled. When I was upside down, it rolled back till its feet were under it. Perfect. Try some more acrobatics and use this battery up. Neat. Really easy to do acrobatics. Whew. Don't want to lose orientation though. Lost orientation for a second there. Get my orientation back. Let's continue on. Nice. Woo! Oh, you hear that beeping? Low battery. So low battery alarm it has on board. It's actually easier to hear when the props aren't super loud. I can hear it from about this distance really good. But when I start getting closer, the props noise makes it a little harder to hear. Still got really good pep, even though the low battery light's on, but you hear that? You want to come in and land, so I think that was probably about 5 minutes of flight time. And with this one it's cool because if you need to catch it, hand catch it, you can because the props will shut off. As long as you make sure and then disarm down to the right. So there we go. So when it's disarmed, you can't, of course, use the propellers anymore. Throttle doesn't do anything, so awesome. You know what I want to try real fast? First of all, I want to turn off the controller, and we have alert beeper, but if we turn the controller back on, let's see if it rebinds. Yep, so it rebound and the beeping stopped. And before we go ahead and do our FPV, I almost forgot, I wanted to do a controller shut-off test and see what it does. We should have a little bit more power on this battery. So we'll go ahead and arm it. And I'm just going to hover it in attitude mode and see what it does if we turn off the controller. So I'm going to hover right about here and I'm going to turn the controller off right now. So controller's off now, 1002, 1003, and it drops out of the sky. So good to know. This thing will drop out of the sky after about 2 to 3 seconds. So you don't have to worry about it flying away on you. So that's great. I like that feature. I know some of the other Walkeras had a problem when you shut off the radio, so that's a great feature. Anyway, I think that's all we can do with line of sight. Let's go ahead and get our FPV going. Everything should be recording now. It looks like we're having some stuff on the screens here. So we see disarmed on the left, and what that's telling us is the props aren't armed. It looks like we do have kind of a horizon and pitch line here, pitch and roll line, which I'd assume maybe you can take those off if you ever wanted to. I'm not sure how to do that yet. And then we have our voltage there on the left, bottom left, and our time sense armed on the bottom right. So we're going to be keeping track of the time on the bottom right and also our voltage. So let's go ahead and arm left stick to the bottom left until we hear the beep, and the disarmed went away. Starting off in attitude mode, so launching, and here we go, guys. So let's see what we can do. I have a nice clear FPV, hopefully you guys can see that, and we're just going to fly around in attitude for a second, and then we're going to switch into some different modes if we don't crash it first. So I'm going to switch into horizon. Whoa. There we go. So we're in horizon mode. Flying through some stuff here. Now I'm like directly behind me and the screen is still super solid as far as FPV signal goes. So doing really good so far. Hopefully maybe we can do a crash so we can see the durability, but I'm going to try not to crash in this one. Now I'm flying over here in the school zone. Coolest school. Let's try to thread the needle in some of these trees here. Pick up some speed. Not hit the fence. Nice. Cool. So I'm way behind me in the park now. Probably about 200 feet away. Let's try some flips and stuff. So punching it. 1, 2 rolls. Oh, super easy on this one. Don't want to hit the power lines. Woo! Woo! Okay, I'm debating whether or not to flip into acro on this one. I probably should, just to test it, but me and acro aren't the best of friends yet. We're still trying to get to know each other, so I do still feel safer with some self-leveling in horizon mode, but 2, 3, oh, easy to do flips with this thing. Oh, let's not hit the fence. Go through these trees. Okay, flipping into acro, guys. I'm in acro. I don't see anything on the screen indicating I'm in acro, but I can feel that I'm in acro. And let's see if we can not crash. Nice. Okay, let's get a little quicker. 2 minutes we've been flying for, 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Woo! Whoa! Don't hit the trees. Alright, we're doing okay. Oh! Woo! Okay, guys, this is live voice. This is not overdubbed voice while I'm flying, so you're getting my first-hand experience with this thing while I'm flying it. Awesome. Man, the video is so clear on this. Thank you, Walkera, for fixing your video issues with this one, and thank you, Almway Commander 1 goggles, for making it so easy to scan for the channel. Now, I should say, guys, I forgot to mention, I'm on the 600 milliwatt setting, 5 or 600, and you have to hold in the button on the side of the video transmitter for 30 seconds until you see a red light come up. And that brings you from like 200 milliwatt to 600 milliwatt and back. And that's why my video is so clear, because I am on like 600 milliwatt. But look at this, it's so easy to fly. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. Whew. Beautiful. Okay, so, oh, all right, we hit a branch. We're still up. We'll see what the prop damage is. I want to thread it through some more trees here. And able to do that because it is pretty precise. Whoa! Sweet. Alright, we can do stuff like a little bit of acrobatics from FPV because, ooh! Okay, I crashed. disarm, and that means the stick to the bottom right. Let me go get that, see what the damage is, and we'll continue on if we have enough power. Okay, so I still have everything recording, and let's just see if we've got any damage and if we can still fly. Man, not even one bent prop. Amazing. A little bit of smearage in the FPV cam, so I'm going to wipe that off. The session stayed up, no problem. That's still recording. The battery got a little bit loose, so let me retighten this battery up a little bit, crank it down. Gosh guys, that's it. Oh my gosh, that was kind of a hard roll, and I rolled into that wall in the grate. There's a metal grate over there, and so far so good. Nothing's broken, just a little dirt on the bottom of that motor. Man, I can't believe no propeller's even slightly bent. So great durable propellers they've given us for this thing. Let's relaunch and continue on until we hear some battery beeping. Okay, everything's still recording. I'm going to stay in acro. Arming and launching. Like nothing. Didn't even reset anything. And we're back up and running. So, my take on this so far is, whoa, that it is a solid quadcopter. If you'd like to get this and get into quad racing, an absolute good choice. Whoa. All right, I'm seeing low battery up on the screen, and I'm hearing beeping. That's awesome that it says low battery on the screen if you forget to keep track of your voltage. So guys, I'm gonna have to say I am absolutely pleasantly surprised, and I expected this thing to be good, but not this good. So before I kill the battery, let's bring it in and land. I'm on the other side of this fence, so I have to somehow get over it. Whoa. There we go. Bailing out. All right. Let's go ahead and power off, see if there is any damage, and give it a final pros and cons. Okay guys, so just finished the FPV flight test, as you saw, and what a great craft. We're gonna go through a little bit of a pros and cons. We're gonna check for any damages. Before we go into that, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording on the session. Cool, so hopefully that video was up on the screen from the session, up on the screen from the goggles I had, and also you could hear my voice, and we also had the line of sight. So let's see the damage. The little run cam strap I was using to hold the session on board broke, but minor. This is just a very flimsy strap I had sitting around that actually fit going sideways. This thing is more meant to hold a GoPro going this way. You can see how the slots are bigger this way and they're thinner this way. So if you're gonna put a session, you're gonna have to have a strap that's really durable going, that's a little bit thinner. But that's the only thing that I can see that broke. Let's see if any of the propellers are even bent whatsoever. Man, not even bent. So I crashed it over here, I hit a tree branch over there, and I bailed it over here. And also what you guys didn't see is I did one test flight before I started the video, and I actually bailed into the grass over at the park here and went straight into the grass, and nothing bent also. So I have to say this thing is super high durability. So I would recommend this for anybody that wants to get into racing, or anybody that is already racing that doesn't really want to build their own quadcopter, you know, that has some flying experience but is not really into building their own. This is an awesome quadcopter. It kind of reminds me of the Swell Pro Swift quadcopter, which I recently reviewed. I'm going to be doing some more flying with that. But keep in mind, for the VTX to get that higher output, you need to hold in this little button here. So there's this little white button, and when this is powered on, you press that in and hold it for 30 seconds per Walkera, and then you can switch between, I think it's 200 milliwatt and 600 milliwatt. When it is 600 milliwatt, you will see this little light light up, and it'll be red. So don't forget that. super great video. The video was very clear. You know, it wasn't going too far that way, maybe a couple hundred feet that way, and then I was behind me with these goggles all the way across the park behind me, and I still had crystal clear video even though the antennas were facing this way in the front, and I was getting super clear FPV, just the slightest breakup. So really pleased with this system they have going here. The only thing I don't know if you can do is turn off those OSD horizon lines in the OSD and the pitch lines. That would be something I'd like to turn off, but I honestly don't know how to do that. So hopefully you can do that either by getting in the software or something. I think it's great that they give you this mount for a GoPro. Worked very well, and it's an adjustable mount where you can adjust the degree to match your FPV camera, and the FPV camera has those degree measurements already on the side of the carbon fiber. So no guessing here. I'm pretty much a 30-degree flyer right now. Hopefully I'll keep pushing it up as I get better. I'm flying faster. As far as the cons go on this thing, gosh, I really can't see any kind of cons. The only thing, but I think it was kind of my thumb moving the throttle stick, was that when I punched it really hard, it seemed to yaw just a little bit, but I think that was me just pushing it up and then pushing the throttle stick a little bit to one direction. So I think that was my fault, and I shouldn't blame that on the quadcopter, because this thing is really a gem. It's going to be very hard to break, and you're going to love it. It looks like the only nick I got in the propeller, I see a little bit of a stress mark there when I hit the branch, and a little bit of a stress mark right there, but even though I hit the propellers there and crashed into the ground, the thing still flew perfect. So very good and durable propellers for somebody that crashes a lot, you know, and that's kind of me. Anyway, I hope you liked that review and it was useful for you, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.